Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan, and the topic of this 10-minute moan is yet another migrant hotel occupant being charged with a crime in the streets of the United Kingdom. And this time, the migrant hotel guest has been charged with 3 assaults on a woman, all within 3 weeks. Now, to give you some resource on it, I'm going to share a story from the Daily Mail, then I'm going to give you my opinion on that and other issues that are going on in migrant hotels at the moment. Migrant hotel resident accused of sexually assaulting 3 women in as many weeks. The resident of an asylum hotel near Gatwick Airport has been charged with assaulting 3 women in 3-week period. Now I say S because the word, if I say that, can bugger up the algorithm in YouTube, believe it or not. So Qais Al-Aswad, 26, who resides at 4 Points by Sheraton Hotel, Brighton Road, Horley, Surrey, has pleaded not guilty to the charges. Today at Staines Magistrates Court, a trial date of August 20 was set. Now this was late last night, so it's obviously yesterday he was at court. Al-Aswad is charged with S assaulting the women in Horley, Surrey on May the 23rd, June the 4th and June the 12th. He has been remanded in custody at HMP Wandsworth, and his solicitors have asked for time to apply for legal aid. He also requires an Arabic interpreter for the trial. Al-Aswad was not produced in court today as HMP Wandsworth had suffered a power outage. The 4-star Sheraton Hotel lies a few kilometres north of Gatwick on the bank of the River Moan. It boasts 110 rooms, as well as a fitness and business centre and a TV room. In recent weeks, several anti-immigration protests have taken place outside asylum seeker accommodation across the country amid widespread discontent with the government's handling of the small boats crisis. The Bell Hotel in Epping has been at the epicentre of these protests after an Ethiopian migrant was charged with a series of offences. Habush Kabatu, 38, is alleged to have put his hand on a 14-year-old schoolgirl's leg, asked her for a kiss and suggested they make Jamaican babies. In Epping, over 2 days, Chelmsford Magistrate Court was told. He'd arrived in the UK by a small boat days prior to the alleged offence being committed, said to have happened between July 6th and 9th. Kabatu appeared in court last month to deny 3 charges of S assault against 2 girls aged 14 and 16, inciting a 14-year-old girl to engage in an S activity and harassment without violence. A migrant residing in the same hotel was charged with a litany of unrelated offences, including S assault. Mohammed Sharak, a Syrian national living at the Bell Hotel in Epping, faces 7 charges linked to offences alleged to have been committed between July the 25th and August the 12th. The 32-year-old is facing 2 counts of common assault, 4 counts of assault by beating, a single count of S assault on a man, contrary to Section 3 of the S Offences Act in 2002. Essex police said they arrested a 32-year-old man after being called to the Bell Hotel in Epping on August the 12th, before taking him in for questioning. Sharwak was charged and was due to appear in court on Wednesday. The Bell Hotel has been at the epicentre of a series of anti-immigration protests held outside asylum seeker accommodation after a separate incident in which an Ethiopian was just repeated. Earlier today, chaos erupted outside the Britannia International Hotel in Canary Wharf, which houses migrants, after a man believed to be staying there was allegedly walked into a woman's house. The man is said to have entered the house after being followed by a group of men on the street and told to go back to the hotel, where anti-migrant protesters were gathered outside. The Met Police said the man had not been charged, as our initial investigation has not identified any offences. They refused to say if he was a migrant staying at the hotel, and obviously refused to deny that as well. The hotel has been the focus of protests in recent weeks after Tower Hamlets Council confirmed it had been handed over to the Home Office to house asylum seekers. So that's just another one. And what's becoming a bit strange is the amount of them. It's just every other day now. Not before, we used to hear a lot of stories about illegal immigrants who were here and breaking the law and doing some pretty serious stuff, and predominantly to children and or women. But now it's even getting more dialed down to people that are actually in the hotels. Now, if they're in the hotel, that would tell you that they're a recent arrival. And the numbers of recent arrivals committing these crimes alleged crimes, let me add, appears to be going up. Because it was very rare for us to hear about a migrant in a court previously. So what that tells me is one of two things is true. Either this has always been a problem, a high proportion of people in migrant hotels breaking the law, or he's starting to hear about them now, and it's always been a problem. So it's either always been a problem, or it's just become a problem. Either way, whatever the truth is out of those two options, it's pretty unpalatable. And what we're seeing is, this is actually driving people to be even more concerned. Because I've said many times, as I've travelled all over the United Kingdom, Ballymena, Peterhead, Glasgow, Edinburgh, Manchester, London, Dover, in the last 6-8 weeks, the one thing I found was that most people have got the same concerns. And those concerns tend to be the level of immigration, where people who we don't know who they are coming into the country illegally, the safety of our children, and the safety of our females. That seems to be people's main concerns. And when people voice these concerns in the United Kingdom, they're often brandished far-right, racist, fascists. And that's not the case. They're just people who are concerned with their communities. And we need to stop that narrative. We need to stop that language. And what happens then, if they don't stop it, if the government appear not to be very successful in actually dealing with these problems, the people with the concerns start to get frustrated. Excuse me. And that's what leads to people taking to the streets. And if they're then brandished far-right thugs and arrested for strange things, then these protests can sometimes move away from being peaceful and well organised. Now, I don't know if that's some people's plan, that they want people at the protests to get even more frustrated and start doing silly things that they shouldn't be doing. Or it's just a product or a byproduct of their stupidity in dealing with these things. And something else I tweeted about the other day. Why is it every day almost we see people in social media finding more hotels, and more hotels that are changing the type of use, when the government keep telling us that they're going to smash the gangs and lower immigration? Why do we need more hotels on 5 to 7 year contracts to house asylum seekers, if the reality is that the government are winning this battle? The reality is they're not, because the amount of even boat arrivals has been up in the 12, 14 months that Labour have been in power. So they're not coming down. If they were coming down, you wouldn't need to be signing up more hotels every week. So stop gaslighting the good people of Great Britain, because we're not stupid. And the fact that we're starting to see more and more people who are actually staying in these hotels at the time being charged for allegedly committing crimes, then that would suggest to us that the numbers are going north and not south. So you need to do something, and you need to do something pretty damn quick. And no gaslight. There's no telling us that you're going to smash the boats, when in fact all you've done is arrested one guy in Germany who was selling parts to the boats. Don't tell us you're going to smash the boats, and then we see footage of these very boats being lifted out the water at Dover Harbour, driven round to the ferry terminal, and driven back over to France with trucks which appear to be under ownership of some pretty dodgy people and under contract to our own Home Office. Don't do these things. If you're telling us your intentions are to smash the gangs, Don't tell us how wonderful deals are that with France that are one in, one out. When even if it was one in, one out, it doesn't solve any problem. The net effect is we've got the same amount of people when we need less, right? When the reality is that it's probably more likely 18 in for every 1 cent back. And the terms are that we cap it at like 50 maximum per week to start with. These sort of idiotic things won't work. And the people aren't stupid. So stop gaslighting and blatantly lying to us. Once you accept that the EU are quite happy for those migrants to pass through as long as they're going somewhere else, and these countries aren't your friend, Keir, then and only then might you do what you promised to do in your manifesto that got you in power, and that is to lower illegal immigration. If you want other people to see this video, click the thumbs up, put comments below and hit the share button. If you've not already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the notification bell. But most important of all, unless you're the type of person that comes into this country illegally when you've left a perfectly safe continent, unless you're the type of person that's making fortunes off of this new industry called illegal immigration, and unless you are the people that are gaslighting a nation by telling them you're going to fix this, then not you. But everyone else, have a great day. Cheerio, bye now.